Emo Social Club. We're here. We're live at Riot Fest. Enter Shikari has joined the podcast.
Yes.
This is amazing for me. I'll let you both introduce yourselves so people know your voices on the podcast.
Hello, I'm Rao.
And my name is Chris.
Okay, I don't have any other questions. That's it. Let's go ahead and drop it from there. I guess we'll go ahead and say A Kiss for the Whole World is out now. Again, you can't stop releasing banger records, one after another. How do you do it?
We're quite picky. We're quite perfectionists. We're also independent, so we're never rushed to make a record. We don't feel any sort of pressure apart from our own pressure. So we only put things out that we're happy with. And that hopefully better what we've done before, what we think they do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing we really strive for is to write music that we find interesting and different. We're not going to put something else out that we feel like has been done before or heard before. So it's a kind of a balance between keeping ourselves happy,
Because that's when it's genuine, that's when you can tell that the music was made with excitement.
Yeah.
And I think you can tell when music is.
I mean, I would think by a certain number of records, you're like, how am I going to keep myself entertained with making a new one?
We've been really lucky to been given a very long leash. Our audience, for some reason, has been very kind to us and very supportive, even when we go off in all sorts of different directions. So. Yeah, we feel very grateful for that because it keeps it interesting and therefore keeps it real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that also there's been a lot of other people we have talked to this weekend and in general who are taking their time when they're developing their next album or even an EP. And I feel like that's just such a consistent basis to be more thoughtful because you guys have a lot more kind of political leaning sometimes behind, especially with the environment that's going on with a lot of your songwriting as well.
Yeah. It's central, really. I would struggle to write about anything that isn't that doesn't feel like it needs to be talked about. That became quite quickly something that we really grasped.
When you pick a set list. Because I've actually said this is the Enter Shikari method of we're going to release 3 singles, or we're going to release Destabilize, randomly, here you go, here's this song. And then it's immediately in the set every single time. How do you pick a set now? At this point you have a new record, but you also have a long list of bangers that have gotten you here.
It's getting increasingly harder. 7 albums now.
Yeah.
And it's, we all start out with the best of intentions and we all care at the beginning. And then about an hour later, it's basically the last man standing.
Yeah.
Because we've lost interest and we get bored by the after an hour's gone. So it's whoever cares the most. No. I mean, basically all we really try and do is we try and make sure we've got a balance of new and old, a balance of, songs that show every side of what we do. And try and consider what people want to see as well, rather than just.
It's mostly mosh pits, I'm assuming. You're skip this one. Let's go back to the mosh pit. Let's get the circle pit going again. Is it hard to not just do all the circle pit ones?
I mean, I feel like it's nice in a live situation not to just, to have ups and downs. I think stuff hits harder once you've brought the audience down and, you've given them something different to think about, and then coming in with a banger that just makes it all the more impactful.
Yeah.
And so when you are putting together this set list for Riot Fest, are we going to hear a lot of bangers or are we going to hear some newer stuff and a good mix of things?
Can you remember what we decided to play?
I think it's pretty much a fair mix of all the eras. I think there's at least one song from every album.
Yeah, I mean
probably not. I don't know.
We struggle to make a set list that's an hour and 20 minutes.
Sure.
And so today's show is 40 minutes. So even
it
harder.
Brutal, just lobbing off tracks that we want to play, but we don't have time for.
It's like disowning your children.
Yeah. Oh, no.
There's always going to be somebody on Twitter or on Instagram just it was a great set, but I wish You played this one.
Yeah, well, then you got to come to a headline show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we still might not play.
I mean, yeah, true. I bought a ticket to your, because I know you did like the preview shows for the record. I bought a ticket to the show here, and I was like, I'm so stoked. Hey, Brian, you have something to do that night. I'm like, this sucks.
I literally saw it and I was like, hey, Brian, you want to go? He's like, can't go.
I bought a ticket to a show I cannot attend.
It was only the best show we've ever played.
Yeah. I was like, I bet.
Yeah.
A buddy of ours like went and then came to what we were doing after, and he was like, I gotta tell you. And I'm like, don't tell me anything. Don't tell me anything about the show. It's just gonna make me sad. But I was like, I'll get the cassette deal, so I get like the ticket and all that. But I'm glad at least you're at Riot Fest, so I get to see you here. But I know you're doing the Kiss for the Whole World tour right now. So this is like, is this your second stop or third stop on the tour?
Third
Show of the tour,
This
yeah.
is just like, it's kind of just around this bit of America, like central, I don't know, the geography.
That's fine.
We're not
middle
doing the
part.
coasts, basically.
Yeah.
But we'll be back for a proper tour early next year.
Okay.
Nice.
Is it UK tour primarily, or are you gonna go back and do like more Europe and then come back, or?
Yeah, or Europe and America.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it it's still America's still doing the business, I guess, for Enter Shikari?
Well, business, if you mean that in a financial sense.
Not in a
no,
financial
but,
sense, no.
but
Doing the
in
business in a passion sense.
Yes, definitely. Like America's tough for us. Like I feel like our music is maybe it's too varied for like a sort of a mainstream audience. You know, however you want to define that, but yeah, it's still we still come here because there's just so much passion, so much energy, enthusiasm, and it's still a joy to play the shows, even if they're like a very small fraction of the size that we do.
I'm like, how do you go from a stadium to play in like Bottom Lounge here in Chicago? It's like
it's weird. It does weird things to the psychology. You have to like reframe things and like but it's equally as enjoyable, I think, if you approach it right.
Yeah, I feel like we have more of it, like we connect with people a little more over here when you're doing those smaller shows. When you're doing the bigger shows, you feel a lot more with everyone, you know, and we're not hanging around the venues or what, and, you know, just meeting people after the show and stuff like that. So you really feel, you get a sense of what it means to people a lot more.
Yeah, I know. I have one friend. He really loves you guys. It's not Brian, but I have another friend. His name is Will, and every time he would tell me all the time, he's like, "I'm gonna go see Enter Shikari," and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I never heard of that band. Then I finally went last year, and I was like, "Oh wow!" Like I get it. And like I saw him in the pit, and I'm like, "I thought you don't go into mosh pits." He's like, "I do for this band." I said, "Okay, I love that for you."
I get tossed around only in Enter Shikari pits now.
Yeah.
Like I gotta save that up for just them specifically.
Nice.
Yeah, I do agree though with the like small sets, because I'm happy that we at least in Chicago have gotten like the smaller sets and like more the more energy and the more like it's like 200, 300 people that are in a room that are like diehard fans, like super passionate about it. And I'm sure that feels pretty good about touring some places in America.
Yeah, I think like when it is just like the diehard fans who have like, you know, people in America are like spoiled. Like the scene is so saturated with so many like brilliant types of music, brilliant artists. And so for us to be able to come over and play this music that's like a bit weird, doesn't really fit in anywhere. It's not the easiest thing to get into. It's so far from the middle of the road. We're on the curb. It's like, it's difficult. So it makes us even more like grateful that people have put the effort in, understand the music and come to the show.
I do think, well, I would say, this is me. Bring Me the Horizon owes a lot to where Enter Shikari kind of paved some roads. I love Bring Me the Horizon, but I'm like, yeah, but Enter Shikari was doing a lot of this first, man.
I mean, like way back in the day, like it was quite lonely in the world of that we were in terms of like taking in lots of electronic influence.
Yeah.
You know, we were like, I won't say like shunned from scenes, but there were lots of people who hated what we were doing.
Sure.
And there was us and like Pitch Shifter and maybe like a few other bands. I guess you had the Prodigy coming in from the other side who were like bringing like punk to dance music, and we were trying to bring dance music to punk.
Right.
And yeah, I feel like now it's absolutely fine. There's no like
it's so accepted.
aggro. You know, everyone can make all sorts of music. And all the boundaries have gone, which is just it's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier now than it was. We got some hate back in the day.
I mean, if you stick around for long enough, the scene will learn.
Yeah.
The scene will figure it out.
Yeah, it's all reciprocal. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I know we have a short interview with you guys, but this was amazing for me. Do you want to shout out anything before we wrap it up, or you want to say, yeah, fuck y'all, and we're gonna get out of here?
Hey, Mom.
There you go.
Shout out, Mom.
Yeah, no, we're good. Just, thank you for anyone listening. Thanks for the continued support. And, yeah, we'll always keep coming back as long as people are willing to come and see us.
Hell yeah. We'll be here. Standing like that. Sorry. Anyway, thank you, thank you, Enter Shikari, for being on the pod.
I was like, no.
I was like, drop that in the subject line. Emo Social Club, live at Riot Fest. We're here with Oso Oso. We got Jade on the pod.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
What's up?
I'd have you introduce yourself, but I just said your name, so now,
No, it's cool.
now everybody knows
that,
who you are. I
Like, who are you? And then you're like,
Who
who am I? Yeah.
Who is this person?
no. Do you know the band Sincere Engineer?
Yeah.
They're doing a little bit where they like go out and interview people,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
say, "Who am I here with?" And I'm like, "That's fucking rad." We love Deanna. Yeah, but we're here with Oso Oso, so. Fuck every other band. Every other band doesn't matter
For
right
now.
now.
yeah,
for
it's
the-
just all on
For
For the next
Oso
15
Oso.
minutes.
The next 15 minutes.
So I'm gonna start this off with, I saw you open for Petey,
oh, wow.
and I was like, wait, this makes a lot of sense. Petey is the most Midwest emo shit that I ever did here.
Yeah.
So do you consider yourself Midwest emo?
I don't know. Honestly, like, straight up, like, I just don't. I'm not. If we are, that's cool. You know what I mean? I never, like,
Yeah.
I never thought, like, oh, what are we? In a way, like, like the who am I thing,
Who am I?
Or you're like texting, you're like, what are we?
Right, yeah.
Yes.
Like, all the bands that I listened to growing up and stuff like that, and that I would say are, like, influences for Oso Oso are definitely emo. The Midwest emo thing, I didn't even, like, know of that thing until I was, like, 18, kind of. Like, I'm old now. I'm 31, so this is still a long
That's
time
not
ago.
old.
But, like, you know what I mean? Like, 2011 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I heard, like, Midwest emo.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I guess so, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like it falls underneath it.
Yeah, right?
It
We're
seems
definitely
like
emo, I feel like, right?
Oh, most
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. It seems like a social media thing, like a TikTok thing of like, taking these clips from movies and shit and like putting the little Wheedlies under it.
I
Yeah.
don't think we have the riffs like that, though.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the Midwestern stuff has, like,
Yeah.
I can't play guitar.
The
like
twinkle.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Twinkly bits.
You know? Like, more of a, like, simpler player.
Yeah.
I think it's I have always heard from people like on the other coasts about like the Midwest and Chicago and all that. It's like they're all trying to do that. They're all like trying to get that sound out of it and that like emotion of like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the weather, I don't know what it is, but it's like, yeah, the coast can't get it, but the Midwest emo has that like that certain feeling of it. So I don't know. I mean,
It's the landlocked.
it's
you know what I
yeah,
mean? The feeling like everything is further away from each other, I think.
yeah,
Makes the world feel more, like, far away.
yeah.
I don't know.
It's the lake effect or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I mean, I've considered like, I don't know. I'm older than you, so I'm 36.
Okay.
It sucks. It doesn't get better. Everything is going downhill from here. But I think that like the era in which I grew up, I'm like, no, I don't understand what that is. Like I understand like the theatrical stuff. I understand like.
Like theatrical, kind of like My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, My Chem,
Yeah, yeah.
Panic,
That's
Fall Out Boy, yeah.
Right, that was what I thought emo was.
Yeah,
That was
exactly.
growing up, for sure.
But now, like, I mean, yeah, I never want to pigeonhole anybody into a genre. It's mostly for like people like us who have to be like emo social club, right?
Right, yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, no, there's obviously like barriers there that need to be broken and doing other stuff. So, I mean, do you think that you're like breaking a barrier? Do you think you're? How would you describe it?
I don't think so.
Let's put you in a box.
I think I don't know. I feel like every music, every genre, and all that stuff like that, it all has its era. Do you know what I'm saying? and I think that we're just like we're certainly part of an era of like these bands and like contemporaries that like we tour with and stuff like that. And I don't know. I think I just not that there's anybody I would think of specifically or anything like that, but I just feel like I could be like, oh, like yeah, we're like breaking the mold or doing something different or whatever. But somebody could just be like, oh, that's this band of this era or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And I'd be like, oh shit, you got us. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I just know as the older I get, writing songs is hard. It gets harder, like to write stuff. And it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything different or anything like that. Then a lot of stuff that I listen to, it just feels like I'm trying to make stuff that like I want to hear.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Stuff that I'm like, oh, this is a good song,
Yeah. Well, with like the whole like fourth and fifth wave of Midwest emo too. I mean, you got a little bit like lumped in with all of that at the same time, and now we're still trying to define like when's the sixth wave coming out, when's the seventh wave coming out.
I'm not sure if we're fourth or fifth wave. Like I really don't even know. Like I'm not. You know what I mean? I feel like we're too old to be fifth wave. But then I see like memes and like the tables, like the lunch tables and stuff like that, and it'll be like on that. I'm like, oh shit, fifth wave, good.
Yeah.
I feel like that's good because like you want to be the first one, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It all doesn't. This is like some
it
shit
all
that's being
culminates together.
Right.
Shit that's being said on the internet that I'm like, I don't know, man. I have no idea. I'm like, please get me off of Twitter. I've been spending an hour on here reading the dumbest shit I've ever seen, and it's like you can't define what you're trying to define right now. You have no idea.
Yeah.
We actually have a lot of friends that are super fans of your band.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I'm using this moment to shout out Andrew. Because he'll be like, what the fuck?
He kept like texting us. He's like, can I come back there? I'm like, no, you cannot come back here.
Like super
Andrew,
fan.
shout out Andrew.
Yeah. Our friend Alice too. Also.
Loves you.
What's her name?
Alice.
Alice. Oh.
Yeah.
Shout out Alice. Shout out Andrew. Shout out Alice.
Surprisingly, this is our only interview where we've ever been like, oh, we got these friends. Like, let's shout them out on the pod. Everybody else are like, nah, you don't get anything. Nah, fuck it. Like, you get nothing.
You guys should text them, see if they have any questions.
I did earlier,
really?
and Andrew just kept saying, "Can I just come back there?" I'm like,
Yeah,
no.
we're not asking those questions.
I'm like, I'm not asking these questions because the answer is no.
He doesn't get it. He doesn't get any questions, I should say. He is just an absolute super fan, and he was at that PD show with me too, and he's just that wasn't even like their best set, and I was like, well, okay, you've seen all of their sets, and like it was an acoustic set. It's not even like a full band set, so I mean. It's fine. I don't know. Do you think you're deserving of such weirdness? And if you want to say no so that he stops, I would really.
No, I think I think I'm deserving of it. No, I think it's so sick that like anybody listens to us at all. You know what I mean? It's wild. Yeah, it's wild to even like to put into terms people just like liking your music. You know what I mean? Like, but I was like younger though, I think 'cause I was in so many bad bands as a kid that like we just weren't good. No one liked us. So like anybody like liking us, it's like, oh, this is sick,
It's true. It takes like 3 or 4 bands to like finally find the one.
Or like 4 or 5.
Yeah. It's less
7.
wave of emo. It's more waves of how many bands have I been in.
Yeah.
And once I get to like the band that finally takes out, like that's the wave. So it's like 5th wave of the bands that I've tried to be in. I mean, I don't know. I think there's definitely a vibe of your music that could attract a lot of people to it to be like.
What's that? I'm sorry.
It's a lot of. We're very loud back here all of a sudden.
They're kicking it up.
Yeah, later in the day now.
They said, let's turn it up, guys. Like, let's
turn up the
wake
music.
up.
But there's a lot of like vibes to your music that I'm like, I get why people are like identifying with it or feeling like something from the music that I think makes a lot of sense to why people that we know specifically are very weird. Tomorrow, Frank Turner's playing is like one of those artists for me where it's just like you define like a moment in my life, and it's like you never expect that when you're writing. I assume writing about yourself and like, oh, I didn't know that like everybody else is feeling this stuff.
Yeah, I think something like that always. Like stand-up comedy, I feel like always like awoke that in my brain, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of moments that like people will touch on stand-up comedy where like you're like, oh shit, that's funny because that happens, and I thought I was the only person that did that, and now this person's like touching on it, and it's just like this wild thing. So I feel like if I could like look for moments like that with music, you know, it's not like you're not trying to make people laugh, but like make them feel like, oh shit, like that's something that I thought I just did like by myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's been a little bit since you've released like a full new album. So like, could we expect that coming soon in 2024?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But I hope so. We're definitely gonna work on new music, trying to make new music, but not really rushing anything. I don't know.
That's fair.
Yeah.
How does the process work for you? Like, when do you decide you need to go and record or something like that?
Like the older I get, it's just like I used to just like come like when I was like younger, I'd come home from work and just like write, and it was just something like I wanted to do. So I was like kind of like, you know, you get off work and you're like, all right, let's just like finish this song or something like that. And like the older I get, it's just like harder to sit down and feel like I'm writing something new or something I haven't done. So I kind of need to like set aside like time and like be in like a studio kind of like environment, and then just like build stuff by like recording it. You know what I mean? Like start with like an idea, have it recorded, like loop it for a while, and then like go on to that and stuff like that. So it's just kind of like getting my ass into the studio. That's it. Like, you know what I mean? And like just setting aside time to just focus on that and like make songs, really, you know?
Is that more freeing? Or is that more stressful?
It's
like,
more, no, it's more freeing, I think. Yeah, for sure. Like, I think as long as like you feel like you're coming out with something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I bet I'm not in the studio enough where it's like, if I was there every single day, I think I would be like, oh, I like run out of ideas and get stressed out or something like that. But I'm not in there enough where it's like when I'm in there, it's like I haven't been in there for a minute.
Yeah.
It's like just spend like 3 weeks and work on stuff, and it's like exciting and it's fun. It feels new, and yeah, if I feel like I don't really run into the trouble of not being excited about making stuff, you know. And as long as you're excited about it, I feel like, then you're good, you know.
I was talking to somebody else here who's like, yeah, this band, like, I used to go on tour with them, and they're like, man, we had to write this record. There's like 2 songs on it, but we just had to put it out, like contracts or whatever, and it's like, that sucks. Like, I'd hate to be a
like
band
pushing
who's
out, like just pushing out stuff just to do it, to fulfill something.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you get into a situation, like, you know, bands get into situations where they have to, like, they're just trying to get out of deals or, like, do stuff like that. But, like, right now we're not in any deal or anything like that. So I don't feel any, I'm just like, you know, if we write one song and I really like the song, I'll just put the song out by itself. Like, if we have it, if I feel like we're, like, onto an album, like, then we'll work on an album and put that out, you know?
how does that work with, like, booking shows, booking tours? Like, how does that work with, like, how do you, because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong because you've done all the research, Lizzie, but you're going to Japan with Origami Angel, who we just talked to. So, I mean, obviously, if somebody says, hey, do you want to go to Japan? The answer is, I want to go to Japan.
Yeah, that's how, like, most stuff just works for us. It's just, like, we have a booking agent and stuff like that. With Japan, like, somebody, our manager, Jake, who, like, runs Counterintuitive, he basically had, like, a guy that was willing to set up a tour, and, like, he kind of, like, rolled it into this huge tour, and that's just kind of how that worked out. But it's, if we get a tour offer, it's like, yeah, we'll do it. Like, that's just what, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, we want to play shows and make music. That's why we're doing this. So, you know, if there's show for us, it's, like, very rare that we're going to turn it down. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Especially, like, at this point in our lives, like, we, like, everyone who's, like, doing this, like, on stage, like, we all want to, like, we want this to just be the thing that, like, pays our rent and stuff. So it's like, when a show comes, we're just like, yeah, we'll do it. You know what I mean? Like,
You're like, we're literally living the dream while doing it.
yeah, you know, it's a weird, messed up dream sometimes, but definitely living it. Definitely.
There's bullshit in the dream, too, I guess.
Yeah, there's things that come out of it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, usually this is the part where we go, hey, promote your new music that's coming out, or
Yeah, I got
But
nothing,
like you just promote
man.
yourself.
you can promote yourself. You can
Yeah,
promote
I
the
got-
old music. You
I
can
got
promote the
nothing.
tour.
Yeah, listen to the old music.
Yeah.
Listen to that shit. I don't know. Like our numbers are like slowly, steadily going down
Oh,
on
no.
Spotify.
Let's get
It's
those
okay.
numbers up.
I'm not worried about it.
Listen, single-handedly, Andrew and Alice will be the two to
Yeah.
bring it all the way up.
Yeah.
We're gonna get those numbers up single-handedly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely time to put out new music for sure. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll
Yeah.
get there. I from what I know, Origami Angel waving high.
Just drop-ins.
From what I know, Oso Oso will be fine because there's a bunch of people in Chicago specifically who are absolutely in love with your band.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll be here forever. Don't worry.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell
yeah.
Nothing like we're not really. Nothing else is going on. That's it. We do this, go home, smoke weed, walk the dog. That's it. Like,
Fuck yeah. Now that's the dream.
Yeah.
Just
you
having
know,
a chill one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
That's the dream.
We're not doing anything else than this for a while. So.
Well, hell yeah. Well, thank you very much for
Yeah,
spending some
thank
time
you.
with us.
Having me. Yeah.
Check out Oso Oso. Get them numbers up. Those numbers got to go up.
Raise them.
Just artificially put it on a playlist or
We're
whatever.
doing. I don't care.
Let's
Fuck
make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Thank you so much, dude.
Yeah, cheers.
Thank you. Guys.
Emo Social Club. We're live here at Riot Fest.
Yep.
Talking to Bayside.
Me, everyone else left. They were
Yeah.
like, "We gotta go watch Turnstile," and I was like,
I get it.
It's
gonna hang. I'm gonna
relatable.
hang.
I was honestly surprised that anybody was like, we want to do this during Turnstile.
I'm very happy for them. I've seen them at an earlier time in their career, and it was like evident that something was gonna happen. But this level is pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a super good band though, and they all seem like they've got like great heads on their shoulders.
Yeah.
Good for them. That's amazing.
It's
Honestly,
wild.
yeah.
But do you think that they like watching them open for like New Found Glory in like, I don't know, like 2020 or 2019, 2018? Do you think if I was like, yo, you're gonna be headlining Riot Fest or you're gonna be headlining Coachella, they would have been like,
I think they would have been like,
no.
I mean,
makes
like,
sense.
when they were at Lala, they didn't headline, but they were like one of the later slots, and we were
Yeah.
watching them, and we're like, damn.
They had goddamn Dua Lipa in the pit.
Yeah, Dula Peep in the pit.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about it also, like you see people like culturally relevant people like Tim Robinson or like Sam Richardson hanging out with them. You're like,
Yeah.
"Yo, you got like Detroiters over here. That's so sick."
It's like a very specific crowd, but it's also like, we just love it.
It's good. I mean, it really transcends everything. It's got pop elements. It's got hard. We were talking about it earlier. How it's interesting to have a band that's essentially a hardcore band have that level of acclaim and not have it be ruffling any feathers on either. Like,
Oh, yeah.
No
Yeah.
hardcore kids are like, this is too polished, and no of the pop kids are like, they're. It's in Coachella, and people are like, yeah, I'm
We're going
the band.
crazy.
You're like, this is amazing.
I mean, people are there for Knocked Loose too now, so
Yeah.
you never know.
I mean, I'm not afraid of that. I think it's awesome. I think it's good that like a lot of the subterranean bands are like getting or achieving that level of
Yeah.
Yeah.
recognition. It's super exciting.
It's great.
Heck yeah.
Bayside.
Yes.
Also a band.
Okay.
You have a lot of recognition on you, too.
Yeah.
This is
That's a transition. It's late in the day. This is our late, our
I love
late
it. It
interview.
worked. It was seamless.
We're doing
I love
fine
it so much.
transitions. I'm like, we could talk about other bands, but I want to talk about Bayside a little
All
bit.
right.
I mean, you guys have been around for ever? A long time.
It has been a minute. I'm in the band for 20 years.
Yeah.
And that really, when I think about it intensely, that is probably about 18 years longer than I thought that I would be in a band.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't believe in the product or like believe in the band or believe in the music, but I don't know. Nobody does that for that long. And it's interesting now that we've been doing it for this long and we've made friends with other bands who have been in the long game as well. And I don't know, it's really interesting to all of a sudden make friends with people who are like, you were in a band when I was in high school that I used to listen to, but now we've both been in bands for a certain amount of time, and it's interesting to be able to connect. Be like, it's a gift from life to be able to stay culturally relevant for as long as we have.
Yeah.
And try not to take it for granted. And
Oh,
just,
yeah.
like, the fact that at this age and at the age of our band that people still care it's great. It's very rewarding.
Well, you guys also just came off of a little bit of a run with Hawthorne Heights and a couple shows with Pink Shift, who we also talked to earlier, homies.
Yes. Yeah, we had done some shows with Pink Shift earlier a couple of years ago, and Actually, that was in 2019. That was on the Interrobang tour. We had taken them out, and yeah, great folks. Like really good band, exciting. And when we were kind of coming up from here, from Nashville, they were available because I think we had done a show in Tennessee that Thursday was on. I know they had been opening for Thursday on that run, so it just made sense. And Hawthorne are great friends from forever, so it just ended up being a nice sequence of events, and it brings us to here at the culmination. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rad.
You've been to Riot Fest before, right? Like, Bayside's played it.
We have done, I want to say 3 or 4 Riot Fests. But,
I feel like I saw you, and I think I could be wrong because this was years and years ago. It was like one of my first few Riot Fests I went to. But you also had, I think you had Frank Iero jump on with you, or he was there one year with you guys, or on a tour maybe.
Not with us. We were friendly with that camp, but I don't think so. I may be misspeaking. The problem with you guys getting me to do the interview is that when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, wait, were we on the first Riot Fest? Because I think we might have been on the first Riot Fest. But then I'm also like, oh, shoot, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I think that we were. Heather West would tell me if we were or not. But I think that, but we've done a number of them, and we've been affiliated since early on. And I don't know, as far as U.S. festivals go, this really caters to the artist. It makes, for being in a band that exists sort of in a subgenre that is, I don't think that Bayside has ever specifically felt rooted in emo or in punk rock or in metal or in hardcore or in any other genre. We seem to float around a lot. But to be given a spot at this festival that makes us feel really home and really centered here, and understand that what we're doing is impactful in a bigger scale is really, truly rewarding as an experience. And like, as a band, Riot Fest really validates what it is that we've been doing for 20 years. And, there are other festivals that we get decent billing on, and we've done other things that are higher profile, but it's something completely different to be on a show. My mother-in-law is also like, you're playing with the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, how cool is that? And
you just have that casual flex now.
Yeah.
I know. Well, and all my kids, I have a 7-year-old and a 3.5-year-old, and they are just kind of becoming aware of what it is that I do. So at this point, they're all like, "Oh, you're like gonna play like a big concert?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "We're not gonna be the main draw, but we're playing at a big concert." And they're like, "Oh, that's cool." So for 5 minutes right now, my kids think I'm pretty cool.
I was about to say, we've talked with a lot of other bands too that are like, oh, like this is the dad life or the mom life, and it's like, at what age is it when your kids are like, don't embarrass me?
I think 12.
Okay.
Maybe sooner. My daughter is me, and it was like I made a version of me that's a girl, and she's 7 right now. So I feel like I might have a better relationship with her growing up, just because I feel like we're kind of exactly the same person. They'll be like, no matter what I do, it's like, that's cool, right? And they're like,
they're gonna be like, we literally opened for the Foo Fighters, like dead on, and they're gonna be like lame, and it's gonna be like,
yeah, like that band sucks. And they're like, all right, well, that's fine.
It's like, are they gonna get into new music and then feel like anything beyond like a certain year is like way too old and
like, Dad, your music's not even on TikTok. I'm
yeah,
like,
exactly.
I guess.
it could be viral if you made it viral. Come on, work for us.
We gotta get how do we get a Bayside TikTok going? Like a viral TikTok.
I gotta tell you, I'm trying so hard to participate. And I am just like so stretched. I'm stretched in a million directions. This is why, again, I'm not allowed to do the interviews. So, is he even talking about anything? Be like, probably not. Get him out of there. But I'm having a hard time with partitioning off my life enough to like, here's TikTok, get into it. I'm like, oh shoot, man, I'll try. But as far as content creation, be like, you want to make videos? I'm like, man, I'd just rather be in my room, like, playing guitar right now, to be frank with you.
That was, MySpace really being the one where it's like, you have to do something on MySpace. Before that, like, a lot of bands came up before that was even a thing. It's like, you just go on Warped Tour and you make it big, and now it's like, oh, shit, we have to actually, like, do other stuff when we're not on tour.
Well, actually, I think at that point, though, it was fairly innocuous as far as, like, I think that MySpace was a thing, it was it was sort of a glory era for social media in the sense that I feel like it was still being respected and it was being treated as like, I was like, man, this is an amazing marketing tool where we're able to like connect with our fans. People can click something and all of a sudden they're privy to all the information that we post. They'll see all of the dates we're playing, any new photos and any new content comes up. And then it just sort of, I feel like it's lost the mark in some respects and it's, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure everyone knows too. Like social media, just like lobs anxiety at people so much.
Yeah.
So
It's great.
it's really difficult to be like, this is a necessary evil. I need to participate.
Yeah.
And I need to communicate ideas. I need to communicate the scheduling and of everything. But also, like, if I spend too much time on here, I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
Yeah.
No, that's very fair and
100%.
valid. Yeah, that's
like,
just
oh,
what it is.
I mean, I don't want to minimize it. I hate to make jokes like that, but it's like one of those things where I'm like, shit, I can't put my brain here. Like, I need to be present for the people in my life that I care for.
Yeah.
But it's, again, necessary evil. Gotta put it up there. Gotta be present.
It's what makes the world go round.
It really does.
I hate it. I hate it. I'm like, no, no, thank you. Because I think, like, I mean, maybe this is something like from our perspective as like fans, but it's like, oh, Bayside, they're fine. Like, you know, they've been a band for a long time. They've got connections. They've got the people in their corner. They've got big bands that are going to want to take them on tour. They've got whatever tour they want to do, they can be on. So it's like, why do you need to make a TikTok, right?
Well, I mean, there's something to be said about, again, like just maintaining, being relevant and being in the faces of people. And certainly there is a lot of, I feel incredibly fortunate that we're one of the bands that when I look out at our shows, I see multi-generational families.
Yeah,
yeah. Where it's like grandma's here and mom's here and the kids are here and the grandkids. So in that respect, I feel very grateful that we seem to be a band that the parents feel comfortable. We're not really that crass. There's not a lot of
True.
like, we have a very few songs that have the little E next to the name, so I feel like we're pretty safe as far as that.
Yeah,
and
true.
as far as messaging goes, we've always tried to we err on the positive side.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see the way the parents will pass us down to kids and stuff like that. So I feel like we're not completely reliant on, like, you gotta keep up with the socials. But at the same time, like, I'm slacking. I'm not good at it. I'm sorry. If you're watching it and you're like, I need more content. I'm like, oh, my content is at home. Like, I don't have any content. All my content is basically in guitar at this point.
I mean,
and the rest of it goes to my kids who are like, pay more attention to me, damn it. I'm like, you know what? I love you. I should.
Yeah, you're like, damn. You know what? That's a good
Okay,
thing.
fine. Do you want to make a TikTok with me?
No, but I gotta tell you, man, when a 7-year-old girl comes up to you and is like, put your phone down and pay attention to me,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
shit, that's real. That's real.
That's
I was
real.
like, you know what? You're right. You are more important to me than this. So like, let's do that. That's where I'm at.
I mean, is anything like, because usually people are promoting on TikTok like new music and stuff like that. So are you?
I mean,
is there horizons ahead?
well, we have new material that we're going to be recording soon that will probably come out in the early part of 2024.
Okay.
And we'll be doing some touring in
Nice.
early 2024. We haven't announced anything yet, but certainly that is the intended outcome. So provided that there's nothing horrific or catastrophic standing in between.
Fingers
us.
absolutely crossed
Yeah,
on
I was about to say,
that.
knock on this
Who knows?
wood.
Who knows? The world's a weird place these days, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. I hope for the best. But yep, should be new music next year, and we'll be out there, and it's the funnest job in the world. We play music.
I mean, yeah.
so good.
And you've got a dedicated fan base. Like I saw everybody, because you guys played the after show last night with Hawthorne Heights.
Yep, we
and
did.
A bunch of my friends were like, "This is my 20th Bayside show. It's my 25th Bayside show."
Yeah.
Like,
No, but truly, that's a phenomenal. That is a thing that I feel eternally grateful for. is
Yeah.
That we have a fan base. That the fact that we have people out there there are so many Bayside tattoos. There are so many people who are like, I've seen your band 20, 50, 100 times. That's, it's special, and it's not lost on any of us. I think we're all very aware. They're like, this is unusual, right? And we're like, oh, very much so. We're like, great.
a lot of bands don't get it.
Yeah.
And a lot of bands don't ever get like the sort of, I don't know, the emotion behind it. Like the people who are like, no, it really means like a lot that I've been to this many shows. People are like, I just go to the shows, you know? Like they're in town.
There are a lot of bands. I think when I think about devoted cultish fan bases, I think oftentimes you've got like stuff obviously like Grateful Dead or Fish,
Yeah.
Queen, or like 311. But I think we are very, very fortunate to have a very dedicated fan base. And it was all born out of Chicago.
Yeah.
Like this is. I know the band is from New York, but I feel like we came up in Chicago, which is also kind of special.
Yeah, I know when I was watching Hawthorne Heights earlier, they were like, this is like our second home. This is where we came up. And I'm like,
I think
that's just
everybody's
so cool.
just saying it.
No, we spent so much time on Victory. We've had so many
True,
special
yeah.
moments here.
Yeah.
Between touring with the Popes and having like Josh Caterer last night came up and did Megan with us.
Yeah.
I think we have a pretty strong connection to a lot of Chicago music scene in general, and it's always felt like a second home to us anyway. So Riot Fest has always just felt special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hell yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you for being on. Is there
Yeah,
anything else you want
I'm
to?
sorry you got stuck with me.
No, it's fine.
Dude, like,
Jack's here.
great.
He'll ramble
Look,
at you.
you get
hold
to
the microphone
say-
too far
You
from
get
his
to say
mouth.
anything you want right now about your bandmates, and they can't say anything.
Yeah.
You know what? This is what I'm going to say. I hate to keep coming at you with the attitude of gratitude. But like, no, I find myself so often like I think about I get to play guitar, and all of the four of us are pretty talented at what we do. Like not being like our band is awesome, but like I'm in a band with 3 other people who are all qualified to be in that band. And it's interesting because I've sat in with other bands, I've sat in with so many things, but I feel really, really lucky that I'm in a band with 4 people that can coexist for 20 years, that we still all love each other, and we still are continuing to make new music, and the new music is working. I have never felt more grateful for anything. Like I love those guys are my chosen family, and it's difficult because I see a lot of bands and it's like it's easy going for a while, but after a certain amount of years, it works or it doesn't. And
Yeah.
after 20 years of being with the same crew, that's my family.
Yeah.
My wife is like, yeah, but I'm your family.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like these guys will be here too. Don't worry.
No, but like if we're in town Thanksgiving, I'll have 18 people over my house, and
Hell
it's
yeah.
everyone.
Oh, hell
It's
yeah.
but that is my family, and I'm so lucky. I'm just really lucky. I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Well, hell yeah. Well, Jack, thank you so much for
Yeah,
hanging
thank you,
out.
dude.
Everybody go listen to, watch Bayside, you know.
Please do.
They're sticking
We're
around.
good. We're good. You know what? This is one of my favorite. I'm gonna go back real quick.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things when we were very early on in Bayside, we were playing in a very small place in Maine somewhere, and we had played. And I went to the bar. I'm older by everyone in the band by about 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
So I had gone to the bar and I was sitting there, and there was an older guy wearing like an old like Aussie shirt or something, and he was like, "Yeah, man, you like Aussie and Van Halen and stuff?" I was like, "Absolutely." So we started hanging out. It was
Yeah.
like one of those things. Just like, I dig that. I dig everything you're talking about. He's like, "I'm here with my daughter who came to see her band." I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, Red." And then she came over and she was like, "Oh my God, are you talking to my dad?" And I was like, "Your dad is the best. Like, listen to what he listens to." But like that kind of a thing, like all of a sudden, and that guy kind of became a fan at that point.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna connect with you. I'm gonna connect with your daughter. But
That-
that kind of a vibe though, like being able to bring like if like that idea of if that daughter went home and talked to her dad and was like, "What's he talking about? Let me play you Blizzard of Oz. Or let me play you or here's like Power Slave, the Iron Maiden record." Like I'm like rad. Like or here's some Frank Zappa. Listen to this, and then you'll hear where all that comes from. So I don't know. It's
It
just
all
great.
comes together. That's the biggest
Kids
thing.
are gonna do that for Bayside one day.
Yeah.
I hope.
Kids will do
I
it.
love, again, like parents, and they're bringing their kids to the show. The best.
Oh yeah. Well,
Like
Jack.
therapy for your family.
It's
True.
it's not free, but it's a little bit cheaper than therapy.
It's so much cheaper than
Oh,
therapy.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jack, thanks again. for
Yeah,
hanging
thank
out
you
with
so
us.
much, dude.
Thank you so much for talking to me. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Emo Social Club, live at Riot Fest. We're here with Shane Told of Silverstein,
Hi.
band that I've known for 20 years.
At least 20 minutes.
I'm thinking about it.
A
At
whole
least 20
minutes. Yeah.
Like
At least
I
since
mean,
this was scheduled.
I mean, yeah. I
I
was.
sent that email and I was like, that sounds like a cool name. Let's just go.
Yeah.
A band playing? Sure, we'll interview them.
What's a Silverstein?
20 years? That is a while.
I mean, discovering the waterfront.
Yeah.
Like I had people
18 years ago that came
Yeah.
out.
I mean, I'm rounding up.
Crazy.
I was there with a bunch of friends who were like, you got to hear this fucking band. You got to check out this Silverstein. They're brand new.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah, we were brand new at the time. We're not so brand new anymore.
Yeah.
But damn, feels good. Still feels good. It feels
Yeah.
better. It feels better than ever, you know?
Is it the nostalgia wave, or is it just being a band still?
It's
Like-
never the nostalgia wave or whatever. That's all kind of weird because we've been doing the same thing
Yeah.
for so long. Like our band never broke up and got back together or anything like that.
Yeah.
So we've seen some ups and downs, I guess, in terms of like the waves of I guess I'll just call it the waves of nostalgia.
Sure.
And maybe right now they're because there's the TikTok dances that are emo or the emo night shows that are happening or all this other stuff. But it's really been for us like fairly consistent, honestly, you know, with our fan base and people coming to our shows and buying our records and all that stuff. So for us, it's been, I say like the last 20 years has kind of felt like one big long day. Like not that much has really changed for me, to be completely honest.
I mean, I think there's a lot of bands that had to get back together to do the nostalgia thing, but Silverstein's just been there the whole time and has always been good. Has always been, you put out a bunch of quality records. So like,
Yeah,
you know,
well, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I mean, we try real hard. You know, every single record. It's like, what are we doing this time? How much we put in more work, more time. Like I think you have to as you get older because the reality is that records don't get easier to make. You know, like there's times even when I'm writing a song and I'm like, oh, I'll come up with a good line. I'll be like, have I used this before? It's like I got 10 albums of material. So
Listen, you can always like reuse it like Fall Out Boy kind of does. You're like, guys, this is like an Easter egg.
Yes,
You're like,
it's
actually,
not
I just thought
using,
it would
it's
smack hard
paying
here.
homage.
Paying homage.
Oh, there you go.
So
It's an homage to our old
no,
record.
no, and I love that new Fall Out Boy record. I think it's terrific.
It
But
really smacks.
we're
honestly.
in Chicago, so we can talk about.
What is your favorite song off of So
Oh
Much
my
for
God.
Stardust?
Oh man, that first song is pretty banging.
It is pretty banging.
I don't know. I'm bad with the names. I'm especially bad with names in Fall Out Boy songs
Correct.
because
That's
some of
fair.
them don't even make sense.
Correct.
But yeah, Chicago's So 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a song that
yeah.
I will play tonight at my DJ set. But
Oh, hell yeah.
That's a whole other story. Yes. But no, wow, we're already on tangents and everything.
So we
it
do.
feels like my podcast.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
what we
that's
do.
what we
But-
do too. So
No, it's great. But no, I think it's a beautiful thing. You know, like just everything's been so good over so many years, and like we've worked hard. Our fans have been there and been supportive, and it's all kind of just continuing to work. You know,
Yeah.
and it's never gotten weird. It's never gotten like to a point where it's like, oh, here's another record. Like here's another embarrassing album, which sometimes happens with bands that get
Sure.
to be 2 decades old. So that's important for us to really just continue down that line of quality, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Sure.
I mean, you are kind of like re-releasing though for the 18th year anniversary from Victory Records too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's also something I
That's
think to like
Chicago.
drum up a little bit as well.
Well, with Discovering the Waterfront being 18 years old or whatever, it's an adult. Yeah. No, I mean the vinyl reissues are cool. Like vinyl was really, for me, it's always been important. And even our first contract we signed with Victory, which was not exactly artist friendly.
We know Victory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Victory has a very storied history.
Yeah.
We
One
were-
in general and here, exactly.
We were a new band and we were not like super hype or whatever, but one thing that we did stipulate in the contract was that we have to make vinyl records. Like our first album has to be on vinyl, which at the time was not that common. There's a lot of records that came out in that period, that 2002 to 2005 or even later period where like those records are still not out on vinyl.
Yeah.
So that was important for us to do that. So, Discovering the Waterfront came out. It came out on vinyl, the second album, and it's been so coveted, and every press of it is sold out immediately. So there's a new press out. It's available now, actually, for a bit, because I know it won't last long. All the different colors and everything. But, you know, it's great to continue to do that, and that record has become such a classic.
Yeah.
That, you know, we want people to own it, be able to play it, you know, on their fancy Crosley turntables or whatever.
Not the Crosleys.
You can get a turntable for $50.
That was sarcasm. Yes.
Yeah. Just play the record. You don't just need a record player. You can get an amplifier.
That's
I got
debatable,
a friend that
bestie.
I got a friend that got very into vinyl, and I'm like, oh, you've reached that level of life. And we had a long conversation about like what vinyls are important, what's important when you're getting vinyl, and what's important about a sound system and all that. And I'm like, dude, you've gone too deep. Like,
yeah,
I got into some other shit, I guess.
I mean, people get into all kinds of things.
Yeah, you want to make sure
I
you keep the preservation of. Like, I have a Denon, and like the needle is like $150 to replace it with boss.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make sure it sounds good when I'm spinning all these albums.
Yeah, I have a project turntable, but mine is the one that you can mount on the wall.
Oh, hell yeah.
So like, that's how much I care. Like, obviously, that's a really good company, a really good turntable company, but probably the one that mounts on the wall doesn't sound as good as the one that doesn't.
Sure.
So you can see where my priorities are.
But it's cool.
I just want to see the cool like record spinning,
yes.
that with the you know, the splatter record going around in a circle. That's my priority with vinyl collecting at this point in my life.
Yes.
That's very fair. And
It's a lot of aesthetics.
I was about to say something
Yes.
else that I felt that was cool, and this is me being a nerd. You guys did a collaboration with one of my favorite coffee roasters, Onyx.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and I was like, yo, Brian, did you know about this? Because I used to be a barista for 6 years, and Onyx was one of the ones that I worked on.
They're
I
so
was
good.
like, yo, love this shit.
Yeah, it's so cool because we're all big coffee guys. In fact, I'm a big coffee guy, and I'm not even close to I'm the lowest coffee man in my band. They're way into it, but Onyx is like collectively our favorite roaster. And then they came to us, like they're fans.
Hell yeah.
Wow, okay.
And then when we did the collab, and we like the mug sold out in like 2 hours, and then they were like hitting us up, being like, "This is the best collab we've ever done," and we're like, "Oh my god!" It's like it's so cool to be able to not only collaborate with one of our actual favorite roaster, but also have them be fans and do so well, and the product be so good and so cool. Like it was like really just kind of the dream.
Yeah.
Like for that. So I'm glad you know about it.
Yeah, no, Onyx is one of my
and
favorites.
everything.
I was hooked on it when there was one year we got it, and they had their Krampus blend, and it was like Merry Christmas or something like that.
Yeah.
I did a V60 pour over of it, just straight black coffee, and it tasted like a peppermint mocha without adding anything to it. And I said, my life has changed. This is it.
Yeah, it's incredible, and it's such a cool company and such great people. So it was a real honor, but I'm just so happy it went like amazingly well.
Yeah.
It feels like all of the emo kids from the early 2000s are now like in positions of power at companies to be like, yo, I really like this band. Can we collaborate with them on something?
It's funny, we've talked about that, how when we first came out and our records were like not very well reviewed and not a lot of opportunities were out there for us. The only people giving us opportunities were people that were smart and being like, oh, well, the kids care about this, and we're going to make money off this band, so we'll support it. Now it's like, you're right, all the people in major positions are like, grew up with Silverstein and all our friends, and now it's easy.
Yeah.
You just hit them up, and you're like, hey, yo.
Yeah, it's cool, and no, for real, that's a really, really good point. And I'm sure that the younger bands now are probably having a bit of trouble with that stuff that we went through. So that's why I'm always like, I don't want to be that jaded old fuck. And you said fuck earlier, so I know I can say
You can say fuck as much as you want.
and not, I don't want to be that guy. So I'm always trying to be supportive too of the newest thing, because I like loved all the punk rock bands and stuff that influenced me, but then there was a big disconnect. And it's like, now I'm hearing bands like, I'm hearing somebody, it's like, oh, like I'm trying to write a song like Smash to Pieces, and it has like a a weird like trap beat. I'm like, how?
I
What?
mean,
The kids love trap.
Whatever works, and it's cool, and I'm really supportive of that, and just it's art, and it's some of this stuff these days like coming out, and especially lyrically, is like the best it's ever been. So I'm into it.
that's good to hear. Yeah, I'm like, these lyrics when I was growing up really changed me as a person, and I wonder like how the kids are like reacting to music now, because I'm not listening to new shit.
You know, it's different because I think part of the way that I wrote lyrics was it was more like poetic, I guess in a way.
Yeah.
I was writing it more so like in a way that you'd write like prose, whereas now a lot of it is way more like social. It's more like how you would talk to somebody.
Yeah.
But in some ways, like that can be just as relatable, if not more.
Yeah.
Relatable. You know, when it's like, oh, I'm being so poetic. Well, what the fuck is he even saying, or what does that even mean? It's like it's very clear now sometimes what people say, and I really appreciate that about it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I'm gonna start talking about that in my songs, but I do appreciate it, and I think in some ways that's further ahead, you know, than I was.
Yeah.
You know?
That makes sense. And I'm like, yeah, because
Does it make sense? It might make sense.
It makes sense. When I was writing music around that time too, it's like, yeah, I'm writing poetry, I'm writing all this shit. And then like, I heard the 1975. I'm like, you're just saying things that happened to you.
You're just saying things that like
You're just
it's
saying
going
shit.
on.
So that song, I do like the 1975, and there was that song. It's like I don't know the name of it. It's like,
Chocolate, yeah.
Is that chocolate? Something
Yeah.
about chocolate. I had no idea what the words were.
Yeah.
And I looked them up. And
I know.
I have no idea
No.
what is going on there. But great band.
That's their
Very
like
talented.
that's their like biggest song, but they released a lot of other stuff. I was not a fan for a very long time, and then saw them live, and I'm like,
He's a stan.
I'm a fan now.
He texted me. He's like, I get it.
I'm a stan now.
I get it.
Like
Okay.
I've changed my entire mind about this band.
As long as you're born after 1975,
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll probably get it.
my dad would hate that shit.
I mean, the Sound is a band that might get some of those people.
Yeah.
It's a little dancing.
No, my dad would hate it. My dad has told me verbatim that there's no good music after 1970.
Wow.
So he doesn't like your music?
He doesn't like Led Zeppelin.
What the fuck?
He
Yo,
doesn't-
what?
He thinks that shit sucks. He
Yeah,
only
I'm not
likes
even into,
my
like,
dad.
bad
My
rap
dad
like that,
likes
but
like
wow.
his favorite song is At the Hop. So he's
Whoa.
really old school. Yeah.
Interesting.
Whoa, all right.
That's
Yes.
I don't even know how to.
So I'm not that much like my dad.
yeah.
But
like, no, Dad, there's so much.
I am a lot like my dad, but maybe not musically.
So I want to shout out that when I go on YouTube and I search emo, which I do
Every day.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your interview with Anthony Padilla
Yeah.
of I interviewed former emo kids or former emo bands or whatever.
Emo legends. Thank you
Emo
very much.
legends.
I was
Yes,
about to say,
my
they're
bad.
still-
Emo
they're still
legend
active.
band
It
leaders
is,
is
it
what it
is.
was, I believe. And you know what's
It's-
funny about that is I actually looked that up today randomly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is-
Megamind energy.
I don't look it up every day, but I was like, that was kind of a thing. And I looked it up literally this morning. You can check my history.
I feel like I trust you. I feel like I don't need to check your YouTube history. It comes up. I mean, it comes up for me all the time. Like, do you think it still applies? Like, you're checking it today. Are you like, maybe people are like, who the fuck are these people? What is an emo legend?
Oh, dude, no. I'm never on my high horse, dude. 99.99% of the world doesn't give a fuck about anything.
Yeah.
Straight up. Go to other countries or like
Yeah.
travel the world. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. You know, so it's like I'm never gonna get too high up on anything that I do. Like I enjoy it. There's a very small, relatively speaking, group of people that care, and some of them care a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like say that doesn't matter, but like let's look at the grand scheme. You know, I can still walk down the street.
Yeah.
You know what
Sure,
I mean? And,
true.
and it's like a lot of people can still walk down the street, even maybe not Dave Grohl, but you know, a lot of
Dave Grohl cannot walk down the street.
No,
Probably not, but-
listen, he's up back there. He's being held up the rest of the entire
Yeah.
day.
Nah, Dave. You know, Dave. I'll say this about Dave Grohl. He's awesome, and he's one of the real ones. And we did a festival with them many years ago, and he was literally just walking around, knocking on dressing rooms, introducing himself to like
God, that's
small
so
bands,
nice.
being like, "Hey, I'm Dave." Like, guy's the best. So cannot say a single bad thing about the Foo Fighters. I love the band. I even own a Foo Fighters pinball machine. Okay?
Oh, wow.
So I am way in, but no. Back to your question though, like I don't. Yeah, it really is true though. Like most of the people in the world do not know or care about this, and that's not lost on me. You know?
Well, that's awesome to know. That's good
Yes.
to know because we think of you as a legend. You've been in it for 18 years.
Yes.
And
No,
if you
and
want,
I will say this about the Anthony interview. He's great. He does a great job.
Yeah.
And that was cool. And that actually got quite a few eyeballs
It
on
did.
me.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Anthony Padilla is like-
I'll take it, you know?
he's
It was funny.
He's doing some business on YouTube. I like Anthony Padilla,
Nice guy.
but I definitely found that interview because I'm like, oh, he's interviewing Shane and Spencer from Under Oath. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah.
Like that's why I'm gonna watch this, not because it's Anthony Padilla.
That's how you get the people in.
That's how you get him in. Well, we want to give you a chance here to shout out anything, like anything coming out, any promo. We didn't talk about your podcast, but you can shout out your
have one.
podcast.
Yeah.
You do, yes.
It's called Lead Singer Syndrome. I talk to other lead singers that do things that I do and sometimes not things I do. Singers from all different bands, all different walks of life. It's a lot of fun. Been doing it for, I'm coming up on 8 years, actually.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Over 300 episodes. And yeah, it's worth a Google. Check it out. And what else? We're doing Silverstein. We're doing a big tour this fall. It's kind of select markets. Unfortunately, not Chicago.
Wow.
Partly because we're here now.
Yeah, we just got
But
you.
we're playing Iowa. It's not
Oh.
that far.
Hell yeah.
Oh, man.
And all over. So we're doing an anniversary, 10-year anniversary for our 6th album. This is How the Wind Shifts, which has become a fan favorite. But we're proud to say that we're doing an anniversary for our 6th album because
Yeah.
usually it's like anniversary tours for like your first or your second.
Yeah.
So it's cool that this album has enough demand that people want to hear it in full. So
Yeah.
we're excited about that.
Hell yeah.
Mixing it up.
Mixing it up. So yeah, silversteinmusic.com for all your Silversteiny needs. And yeah,
All right.
it's nice. Thanks for having me. It's been a nice chat.
We're glad we got you in
Yeah.
Chicago for Riot Fest. So we'll see you the next time, obviously. Next
Yeah, I
time
have
you're here.
like a Riot. Is this a Riot Fest?
It's a Riot
It's a Riot
Pop,
Fest
yeah.
Is
based-
this their
yeah.
own thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Zoom in on that. It's actually really good. Nothing rhymes with orange. Oh my God, the Breeders are playing. I know
I know.
this song.
I just heard the song.
On
I'm
the
like,
last
oh, okay.
splash.
This is what's happening.
like, damn.
Amazing. I love the Breeders. Anyway,
Oh yeah. We'll wrap it up there so we can go listen to the Breeders.
let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Thanks, Shane.
All right.
Yeah, thanks,
so
dude.
much.